Hello, boys and girls. You are now checking out, and I want to thank you so much for checking out Peter's Raw Recap. Yes, this is Peter's Raw Recap, and this week's Raw was from New Orleans. Before we go there, though, I want to say, hey, thanks so much for checking out what's going on here on PJTW Central. Today was about to be the return of the New Day podcast, episode 19. But an hour into the recording, my computer decides to turn heel on my ass. And it freezes up. I had to restart it and lost it was like an hour in and we lost an hour's worth of conversation. That's me and Nathan Newman. Man, that sucks. But that's definitely technology for you. So hopefully next week we'll be back. But again, Tuesday, Peter Talks Sports at this moment in time. I guess that would be to my right. My computer is actually streaming the Clemson Alabama game, so I'm gonna try to get through this so I can check out the end of this. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Peter Talks SmackDown. All right, so let's get into this Raw from New Orleans. We knew that Brock would be returning. We knew that Kalisto had a shot at the U.S. belt because he beat Del Rio last SmackDown. And we knew that Vince McMahon will be coming back, but what would he be doing to Roman Reigns? Those were the big plot twists coming into today's. Another thing, the Sting Hall of Fame induction. Those were the big things going on. So, Raw New Orleans starts with one of the things I hate the most that the WWE does. Is when they get all the workers standing out front. I hate that. I hate that so much. Why? Because it makes your entire. That's the problem with the authority. You know, you want organic storylines of different wrestlers in different universes and different plots and different feuds. But when you have one authority figure, it basically cloaks everybody under this one umbrella to at any and all situations, whatever they're going through will never, ever, ever, ever outweigh what the authority sees for them. And it just doesn't do your roster any favors. So this progress, this thing that I've been seeing over the past couple of weeks with the WWE making this show better. And tonight's show was good. All right? I mean, I think what lacked was work rate. Maybe I'm getting a little spoiled, but I never have an elitist sort of view on how the WWE product should be. It shouldn't be ROH. It shouldn't be New Japan. It should be WWE. But your meat and potatoes is your mid-card and how well they can perform and put on shows. So that was the only thing really lacking. And we're going to the matches, and you see that, like, there wasn't really, it was only like 2 matches, honestly. Like two matches out of a 3-hour show. 3 matches that really came off worth a damn. But anyway, all the guys are out on the ramp. Again, I hate that shit. And the McMahons come out and they cut their promo. They talk. We find out that today is the 23rd anniversary of Monday Night Raw on USA. The McMahon shoot on Reigns defending the title at the Royal Rumble, and they were talking about, well, there's this 1 in 30 chance that he may defend it, and one of whatever jabronis are standing on the ramp could win. And he says Ziggler's name. He says Owens' name. They say the New Day's name. The Wyatt family just sort of and appears, and Bray's like, yep, I've been saying it the whole time, motherfuckers. Anybody but you, Reigns, right? This is kind of awkward, but then, and then he says Brock Lesnar. Like, yes, all these people can defeat you at the Royal Rumble. Reigns comes out and he basically questions the McMahons, like, well, since you're going to do all this shit, what's going to happen when, not if. He says, when I win it. They laugh at the idea of him, this. And Vince is like, there's a chance. It's like, nah, it was a slim chance. Slim chance. They could have played off the no chance thing. But nevertheless, it's like, well, look, it's 1 against all. It's 30 against 1. Your chances are super, super slim. And just like your Rumble chances being slim, we're going to put your punk ass in a match tonight. Would you say 1 against all? Yeah, we're going to actually put a third of the roster up against you. I was waiting for him to say, well, we're going to take all the heels we got on the roster and we're just going to put up against you. But he said 1/3 of the roster. And yeah, and you're going to have to face them all. And then he's like, and he goes, yeah, and maybe in that flock, you're going to have to face Ambrose. And Ambrose is standing on the ramp like, nah, Don, just on the apron, on the ramp, just showing that he ain't having it. And then McMahon's like, well, you got a match then. And then you get a cheap shot from Sheamus, and you're gonna face you're gonna face Sheamus right now. And the cheap shot, and then they make it to the ring. We get Sheamus versus Ambrose. And the one shining moment in this, and it's like anytime Dean Ambrose is in the ring, I kind of tune out. I'm sorry. Whew. Well, anyway, the moment of this match, and maybe the moment of the night to a certain extent, is this one guy. When they make it to the outside of the ring, you hear this one guy's voice, and he goes, "How many mirrors do you break? You look hideous." That's what I thought. That was fucking hilarious. The match itself is just back and forth. Sheamus gets a lot of offense in, but in Dean Ambrose crazy thing, he doesn't allow himself to get beat down. So it ends in double count out. This is the second straight match that Dean Ambrose has been in that ended in a double count out. If you go back to Thursday Night Raw, him versus Owens ended in a double count out. This ends in a double count out. But this ends in a way that fucking just... So Ambrose flips. He snaps. All of a sudden, he had this whole match to just basically win. But right at the very end, he snaps. And he reverses, I guess, I don't know, like an axe handle. And he takes fucking Sheamus and sends him head first into the turnpole. Like, when I saw it, I go, you know how sometimes the worker gets his hands up, so there's contact, but like something to catch between you and that pole, your hand or something, come on. But no, his hand doesn't go up at all. It goes directly into the pole, busting his ass wide open. Sheamus gets color, and it's just like, at first I was like, nah, he had to bust his ass open right then. And then I saw something, I was like, maybe that's his hair wet, like, on his forehead. And then, man, that shit became like the Red Sea on his head. And Ambrose just proceeds, he sends him to the pole again, and then he runs his ass over into the steel steps. It's like, so he's flipped it. He's flipped. This guy, Sheamus, who was just the WWE champion, is now being tossed around by the IC contender who can barely beat Kevin Owens. So I don't want to go into this any more than I have to, but what ends up happening is that Kevin Owens comes out and he goes to Dean Ambrose's ass. So Dean Ambrose gets tarted, like his whole thing, he gets carted out and gets checked on and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, was it just me? Or is Sheamus the motherfucker that should be checked up on? He's the one bleeding from the brain. Part of his brain is spilling out of his head. But Dean Ambrose is the guy that gets checked up on. Weird to me. And then Ambrose, in the back, because an investigative reporter, Renee Young, is in the back. He's like, "Oh, we're checking up on protocol with Dean Ambrose," and Dean Ambrose just comes down and screams at Renee Young. And Sheamus was the one that was bloody. It's weird. Next thing you see is the McMahons in the back with Paul Heyman, the return of Paul Heyman, and he proposes that Brock should not be in the Royal Rumble, but should be the big boss, waiting for the Royal Rumble winner at WrestleMania. Part of the discussion I had today that didn't exist on the New Day was this very thing. I asked Nathan who he sees as actual winners of the Royal Rumble, and he brought up Daniel Bryan and he brought up Brock Lesnar. And my only thing with Daniel Bryan, my first thing about Daniel Bryan was, well, Daniel Bryan isn't on the roster. Well, he's on the roster, but he's not active. So I can't really put him in as a valuable go-to to actually win the Rumble. And then I said, well, Brock doesn't really need to win the Rumble. He's going to be in the main event. He's the cash cow. They gave him all that money to main event their big pay-per-views. So it's not like he needs to win the Rumble or even be in the Rumble at all. He could just be chilling, waiting for someone to meet him at Mania. And sure enough, Paul Heyman is talking about this. Now, I think this is a shoot. I think this entire segment, this entire thing going on during the night with Heyman and him wanting Brock to not be in the Royal Rumble, I think is a shoot turn the storyline. Because if I'm just some dude that does a podcast and a vlog on wrestling, if I'm sitting back thinking, this guy doesn't really deserve, just straight up, it's common sense. Why should he be in the Rumble? He's Brock Lesnar. He's guaranteed their spots. So why put him in the Rumble? Right? So I think that's a real good storyline going on. And they're like, well, let's talk about it behind closed doors because, there's a camera in front of us. Stardust versus Titus. And again, this is one of those poor work rate and poor Stardust, because Stardust can work his ass off. But I don't know what it is about Titus. Titus had momentum. He's grown stale in the ring. You can't do much when you're doing 4 moves. You're a big guy, I get it. You had a moment where I felt like the people could have really got behind you or what have you. But regardless of how the people feel about you, if you're in a position where you're hit a ceiling, Titus, you might want to step it up. You might want to take notes from Ryback. Even though Ryback is like, his fingertips are probably now bare bones because he's been trying, just climbing that fucking wall, just trying to do something to not make himself stale, try things different, do new things. Even though it's to no avail, at least he's still doing it. And Titus, you're not. So this match stunk because Titus refuses to improve, it seems. But Stardust is doing the Ziggy Stardust paint on his face as a tribute as Stardust. Ziggy Stardust, see? And someone actually posted something, I think of the Mad Men podcast. He made a quote, like a tweet saying, like, why isn't Dolph Ziggler and Stardust tag teaming today as a, tribute to Ziggy Stardust? They could have done something interesting there. but they dropped the ball. Drew Brees is in the stands. Apparently, he was one of the reasons. He's a big wrestling fan, and one of the main reasons why the Raw, not the Raw, but 2 years ago, WrestleMania was actually at the Superdome. But yeah, I mean, the match was whatever. Titus wins with the Clash of Titans, and that was that match. But right after the match, he goes out and he tries to be like Cam Newton and shit. He's trying to like kiss babies and shake hands. Stardust attacks him from the back. So we still got this feud to sort of wrap up at some point. Because I don't know if you remember, in November, going into Christmas holiday, they were sort of going back and forth, and then I think Stardust had like a little small tweak of an injury, and now he's back, and now it's just like not a good look for the people. That's all I'm saying in terms of the wrestling ability of Titus O'Neil and the wackiness of Stardust. This is not entertaining. It's not. This is like a waste of everyone's time right now. You could do something more creative with this, but you're not. We get the return of Chris Jericho's highlight reel, and he comes out shirtless in a jacket with a creepy scarf. That was not a good look. That was not a good look. He shoots on stuff. He talks about his return. He talks about the New Day. He talks about how he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And then New Day shows up and they go blah, 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 blah. Then the Usos show up and they go blah, 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 blah. And it's like, look, then we'll face you. It's like, what, you bad at math? There's 3 of us over here. It's only 2 of you. And Chris Jericho's like, well, there's 3 of us. What are you talking about? So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, shit, so he's not wearing a shirt because he's going to take off his pants. He has trunks and he has boots in the back. Someone just goes fetches some shit and we got a 3-on-3. But no, we just get the New Day versus the Usos. We get Kofi Kingston and Big E Langston and, Jimmy and Jay Uso as Jericho is outside as an equalizer to Xavier Woods. Long fucking match. All right? Long ass match. And it's interesting enough. These two teams know each other well enough. They're going at it, I feel like the Usos are getting the ring rust off. This was a good performance by them, to say the least. But one thing that was happening is that Jimmy Uso did a dab that just fucking pissed everybody off. Now, if you watch football, the whole dab thing, that's Cam Newton. Cam Newton's on a team called the Carolina Panthers, who is not a division foe, but a division rival in the NFC South. So you do that dab, and anywhere close or affiliation to New Orleans, not good. Maybe it's cool. But it ain't cool in New Orleans. So, as your babyface, the Usos, you just got yourself a little bit of heat because of your ignorance. And maybe they were trolling. I don't know. They could be Carolina fans, but I just thought that was interesting. He dabbed like 3 times. The first one was a big boo pop. And then he did another one, they booed again, but like, chill. I mean, I get it. Just know your surroundings so you don't end up falling on your face looking like a jackass. Jericho breaks the trombone, and the Usos finally win via roll-up. Now, if you've been keeping up, the Usos have not been winning anything. They've actually been having their ass handed to them by the League of Jobbers, the League of Mid-Carters. Just seriously, week after week after week. They even won the tag team of the year Slammies that they've only been around a month for to get, and they just been getting their asses handed to them. So this is like their first win over the tag team champions, to say the least. A little bit of distraction, but nevertheless is a win. So are they? They're gonna get the titles back at some point. When? I don't know. We don't even know because even at this point in time, the tag team belts are not even a priority. They're not. They're not a priority. I mean, the last real defense. I'm not even going to say the Lucha Dragons. I would say the last time that those belts were even at least somewhat relevant to own or to have is when they were feuding with the Dudleys. And the Dudleys I was thinking that the Dudleys were going to get their 10 time. But ever since, Lucha Dragons, tittle tattle, they got nobody to go up against. Los Matadores vanish. Primetime players are nowhere to be found. Oof. Yeah, like bleak. The Ascension. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Maybe they are gonna get some sort of tag team defense. Maybe at SmackDown. Maybe next week's Raw. Who's to know? I know it's not happening at the Royal Rumble. I know it's not gonna happen at the Royal Rumble, but we'll see in the next week or two. We get a Cena update, and I don't know what it is about these doctors. Maroon. This guy's name is Dugas. The guy who did his surgery on his shoulder, Dugas. Maroon and Dugas. They actually sound like a tag team. Like Maroon and Dugas. Like a straight up NXT heel. No pun intended. Heel, get it? Doctors, they heal. Never mind. Like a heel tag team. Maroon and Dugas. The MDs. The surgeons. Whatever the fuck. Someone booked that shit for WrestleMania. We get Heyman in the back with Steph, and they're continuing the conversation, negotiations of what to do with Brock Lesnar. To put him in the fucking Rumble, not to put him in the Rumble. It's the two of them because Vince storms out apparently mid negotiations, and Heyman's like just outright saying no, he's not going to be in the Rumble, and Stephanie's like, fuck that shit. We are his bosses. He's in the motherfucking Rumble, whether you like it or not. Eat a dick and don't stand that close to me ever again. So that's how that went down. He's like, okay, I'll go tell him. JBL announces Sting Hall of Fame induction. They do like a really cool package of Sting and people talking head wrestlers about the legacy of Sting. Congratulations, he's the first inductee to this year's WWE Hall of Fame. I got the notification this morning from the WWE app, and on top of the news that David Bowie's dead, this has been the other news within like social media. So I'm happy for him. I guess it's over. I guess it's it. I think that's it. I think that just marks that he is indeed retired. In ring, yeah, I would say this makes it as official as a motherfucker. Unless he gets in before WrestleMania and does something. The Wyatts are in the ring, and they about to cut a promo until the Social Outcasts step up with their zany promos. And it's like, yo, we here for a motherfucking fight. It's like, well, I'll be damned. Fucking Social Outcasts. You do that thing, y'all. Do that thing. And they start a match, but I don't know if the match actually starts because it doesn't really end. All of a sudden, Ryback shows up, and the match just ends. I don't think I remember seeing... When Ryback runs in, the bell doesn't ring. I don't know where the fuck the ref went. What this was all about. Again, like, dude... It was a waste of time. I mean, they could have done something cool, something funny. We don't want funny with the fucking Wyatts. If anything, it looked like an opportunity just to crush the fucking Social Outcast, to just make them look like idiots compared to, like, the Wyatts who just taken out the Dudley boys over Team Extreme over and over again. Now these jabronis are stepping to him. It's like, look, this makes quick work of these guys. But that wasn't the case. We get Ryback coming in, and it's like 5-on-4, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. And nobody's going at each other's throat because it's the fucking Royal Rumble coming up. Like, I don't get it. And whose alliance is Ryback? I know he wants revenge on him catching a beatdown from them last week, but it's just weird. Kalisto's in the back with Young, and he cuts a promo about opportunity in the U.S. and all this stuff. Push, push, push. Push up. Push, 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 push. All I've been screaming for is time for Kalisto to get that push. Time to give him the rub. Give the kid the rub. Hey, Thursday was a foreshadowing to any and everything that happened within the next 20 minutes of this show, starting from here, right? Cena gave him the rub on SmackDown. He beats Del Rio, and I went back. I was like, what did I say about that? I went back and listened to Peter Talk SmackDown last week, and I'm like, yo, I wouldn't be surprised if they lift that belt off of ADR for him to be a heel moving forward. Roman Reigns, say within that Royal Rumble Fastlane WrestleMania thing, because the heels is looking dark. I mean, like, it's just looking bleak. So he needs to go. He needs a heel to go up against, and he can't be going up against the U.S. champ. So you got two things going on here, and a long match, very long match. Kalisto wins with a roll up. He got a roll up on Thursday, and he is now the new U.S. title holder. More rub for the kid. Good for him. ADR again. The belt is lifted off of him, and now he can move up the ladder. And that's what I even tweeted. Like, let's see where he is in the title picture, say in the Royal Rumble, or even moving forward against Roman Reigns or something. What the hell? Oh yeah, whatever. We get Flair. The Flair's in the back with JoJo, and they're just like, yep, I'm the victim, not Becky Lynch. Brie versus Charlotte. They are going out there, and right when Charlotte enters the ring, Becky Lynch hauls in on her ass. Like, just beats her ass. Just stomp, stomp, stomp. I've been looking at Becky Lynch as getting this rub, getting this push. She's getting the push, guys. I've been saying it for weeks, that this is all about Becky Lynch and not about Sasha Banks. I think if they chose Becky over Sasha and this little feud that's happening right now with Charlotte, even before the injury, they had already said, hey, we're going to give you this storyline about being legit, wanting to win on your own merit and talent, and putting you up against Charlotte, who is the women's champ. So, and now the story is developing, and she goes in there, beats the shit out of Charlotte. After she beat Charlotte last week, Charlotte beat her ass after the win, and then this was her payback. Rick is like, because what happens normally when that kind of thing goes down in a match, where before the bell rings, either their opponent attacks them before the bell ring, or someone runs in before the bell, but then it's like, hey, can you still wrestle? And normally it's a baby face or something. He goes, yes, I can wrestle. So they wrestle already being attacked, like they did with Dean Ambrose and him getting sucker punched by Sheamus. Normally a babyface thing situation, but because Charlotte's heel, the situation doesn't fly. As soon as she got up on her too, Ric Flair's like, what the hell's going on? You ain't asking her to fight this. She just got attacked. She's in no condition to fight this match. What you gonna do about it, fat boy? We out. That was pretty funny. He calls out somebody. He's like, what you gonna do, fat boy? And he takes her out the match. Lynch is in the back with JoJo, and I would say she cut the promo of the night. She cut the promo probably of the week from anybody on that main roster. It was a passionate, it was a passionate, angry, pissed off, like confident, take no shits promo where she was like, no, like I've been betrayed, I'm hurt, and I'm angry. So me going out there doing what I just did to Charlotte is basically me pissed off. I mean, she sounds like she just got like, and that she's alone. That you know she's having to cope with being alone, not necessarily losing her best friends, losing PCB, Paige, now Charlotte. It seems like she's more focused on like this idea that she has nobody now. It's unlike NXT. It's the big time. People are cutthroat. People are this. People are that. And she's coming to the realization of how her, you know what I'm saying? You take Team Bad that's been fucking with her and causing losses for her while she's trying to be like, a legitimate fighter who wins on her own merit and talent. And then she got Ric Flair nipping at her feet, and now she's like by herself. Not the days of NXT. This is the big girl stage, and it's starting to weigh on her. So moving forward, we'll see what happens. I like Becky Lynch. I like Becky Lynch a lot. I think this is a good spot for her. She stays healthy. The Divas division look pretty bleak right now, so she's in a good position to actually become a champion, the Divas champ, really soon, unless they blow this storyline. But right now, this is a compelling storyline. This is what I wanted out of a Divas division, just a compelling story, fresh people, and better matches, than say what they've been given to the prior Divas of pre Divas Revolution. And then we get to the main event, which is the 1 versus all match, which basically is all the heels, all of them. Every single last one of the heels. Even ADR, they even shot him. He's pissed off. He still is pissed that he's lost that belt. He should be pissed that he's lost all that weight. I don't know if anyone's noticed, too, but Del Rio is he's lost a lot of weight since he's been back in the WWE. And for some reason, I noticed it tonight. I was going to bring it up earlier, but this segment, this all versus one match, and they kept shooting him. I was like, man, Del Rio looks skinny, man, compared to when he first came back with the Mex America gimmick. Well, anyway, Owen starts the match, and this isn't an all versus one match. This is Owens versus Reigns. That's what this is. And Owens is getting the best of Reigns this entire match until the very end. But it was pretty funny where Vince McMahon, before the match even started, is like, all right, Owens, we're going to start with you. All the rest of you guys, get to the floor. Because we're going to make this fair and square. I just thought that was funny as hell. All against one, let's make this fair and square. But again, this match is mostly Owens in the ring, and then it's mostly Owens on the offense. Then right where things got real juicy, and it seemed that Roman Reigns was going to basically get the best of Kevin Owens. And by the way, I don't think they even knew what kind of formula this was going to be. Because at first I thought this was going to be like a tag thing where everyone's going to be on the apron and they're just going to tag people in and then keep a fresh body in there. But I think they didn't know how they were going to do this. And that's how this came out. Just to have Owens in this match the entire time against Roman Reigns was a waste of a gimmick of basically one against all. Now, obviously, the shit hits the fan when Roman Reigns gets the momentum shift, and it seems like he's going to basically beat Owens. Because they're saying that, he's going to fight everyone until he can't fight no more. Dude, they lost track of what they wanted to accomplish with this. Well, anyway, the Ascension come in, Stardust comes in, Breeze comes in. They all try to get a piece of Roman Reigns. He lays them all to waste. And then Vince just goes, all right, everybody in there. And then they just beat the shit out of him. You get a kick to the face by Del Rio. You get a bro kick from Sheamus, who's not bloody anymore. I go, wait a minute, what the hell is he doing? Why isn't he getting protocol? Why the fuck is Sheamus, a guy who fucking got busted open, hard style, blood everywhere by hitting the fucking ring post? Why the fuck is he out there? He wasn't really needed out there. Regardless, I guess that'd be something to look into later on. But can anyone answer me this? Why the fuck is shit? Not to be a wuss. I'm not trying. I'm just saying, you know, if they're gonna be this whole like the legitimacy of our like wellness and all that stuff, like we're gonna keep up with the NFL in terms of like concussion protocol. He hit that fucking pole, man. And then he's out there giving bro kicks like nothing ever happened. It's like, fuck out of here with that. And Brock comes in with the save. Just clears everyone out. Suplex here, suplex there. He gets Sheamus. Sheamus gets some good licks in. Like, because they've been actually in Houston. They've been doing some house shows, Sheamus versus Lesnar. And actually, Lesnar is all nicked up. I mean, if you look at him, this guy's all nicked up, man. He's scarred like hell. This guy bruises too easy for me. You know, I guess it's compelling when he starts to bleed, but goddamn, how much this motherfucker needs to eat more damn. What is something you can eat to like toughen up your skin, or just rub some aloe on something, man? Get some tough skin. You're a tough motherfucker, but your skin sucks. Brock. Well, anyway. So yeah, Brock shows up for the save, and the New Day's like, "Yep, we're gonna get some of this." And they look like they're about to feed Big E because he's big and whatever. He clotheslined New Day again. He suplexed the shit out of Big E. Fucking Owens catches a fucking suplex for his trouble. ADR catches a suplex for his trouble. Sheamus gets his licks in again, and then he gets a belly to belly over the top, fucking for his troubles. Everyone's wiped out. Everyone's wiped out from, say, what Roman Reigns did, the Ascension and Tyler Breeze and all that shit. And then the rest was Brock Lesnar. So it's just Brock laying there, and then a laid out fucking Roman Reigns is on the ground. He picks his ass up, F5s him, and then walks the fuck off. And that's how Raw ends. Again, a good show. I still think the work rate should be a little higher for the mid-card matches. We got it again. We got the rub out of Kalisto. That was pretty cool. We extended the storyline of Owens and Ambrose, even though Owens is in the ring with Roman Reigns, and some things need to clean up. This show isn't as good as, say, the last 2 weeks. But again, they're making progress. They're making it known that they're stacking the deck on Roman Reigns. They're showing that Becky Lynch is getting the rub for the Divas right now, and she's in a good position. Kalisto getting the rub. Everybody else is in limbo. They're just waiting for the Royal Rumble to show up so they can just be in it. Social Outcasts, the Wyatt family, who will be facing the Dudleys again this Thursday. It's like they got nothing for the Wyatts. And that's about it. I really hope that this is still contributing to the downfall of the Authority. So if this leads to the decimation of the Authority, I mean, I guess it's one of those things where it's like milk all the authority you can right now. Get any and all heel and any all presence you have between Vince and Stephanie, because it seems that they're going to be on the outs. So get it all in, work it all in. you're trying to get over this baby face in Roman Reigns, then this is the last hurrah to get him over. Because I'd imagine by the next time it's time to get over a new guy, Vince is not going to be around. So this is his last hurrah on getting over his hand-selected guy. Triple H should return sometime soon. We don't know. Maybe it's going to be at a Royal Rumble. But I'm just waiting for this authority storyline to sort of just go away. Just go the fuck away. And, all right, I just looked over at the game. So that's how I'll conclude Peter's Raw recap. Thank you so much for checking this out. Subscribe below. Again, Peter's Raw recap, Peter Talks Sports, New Day Podcast, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, Peter Talks SmackDown. Subscribe. And plus, this isn't on iTunes. This is just a YouTube vlog. But the other, if you're interested, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling is on Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Podbean. Overcast, I think, too. I didn't sign up for that. I think they just throw that shit on there. But you can hit me up at PJTW Central. Again, that's PJTW Central. Or you got Ellen Japanese, LINJAPANESE. And that is Twitter, that's Instagram, and also Snapchat. You can leave a comment below. I would appreciate that. You could be, you talking shit to me. It could be a question. It could be anything. I don't care. I just want interaction. Hit the like button or a heart or thumbs up. Do all that stuff. And then the most important thing you can do is share. So, again, Raw went off the air maybe 30 minutes ago. 45 minutes ago from here. So by the time you're catching this, maybe you're on your way to bed. So, yeah. Thank you for checking this out. Again, subscribe and all that other stuff. And I will see you tomorrow for Peter Talks Sports. Until then, watch out for those foreign objects.